Next item on the agenda is Director's Report.
All right, I'd like to report to you on the recent actions of the City Council since your last meeting. They have held 2 meetings in June, one on June 3rd and one on June 17th. On June 3rd, the Council heard interviews for the 2 Planning Commission positions that are up for appointment, and then they voted to reappoint Commissioners Donaldson and Cardoza. So congratulations to Buzz and Gail for 3 more years.
The competition was stiff.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. The council held a public hearing on a proposed charter for the city. The charter would be very brief, stipulating that Emeryville may collect enhanced real estate transfer taxes, but otherwise would operate as a general law city. 3 people spoke in support at the hearing. The charter is expected to be on the November ballot. The council approved the 2014 to 2019 5-year capital improvement program, and they authorized budget appropriations for it. They also approved the fiscal year 2014-15 and 2015-16 operating budget. Part of this budget, as you know, includes reorganizing the Planning and Building Department and the Economic Development and Housing Department into a new Community Development Department. Finally, on June 3rd, the council authorized the city manager to execute an agreement for the exchange of property and a project improvements agreement for the proposed Parkside Park, and you will be hearing more about that project in just a few minutes. On June 17th, the council held a study session on the Emeryville-Berkeley-Oakland Transit Study, also known as EBOTS. They heard from speakers, and then they made a number of valuable and insightful comments that will inform the recommendations which are now going to be developed. On personnel matters, the MESA Board, that's the Management of Emeryville Services Authority, which is the City Council by another name, approved the retitling of my position, Planning and Building Director, to Community Development Director with the added responsibility of overseeing the Economic Development and Housing Division. And they created a new Economic Development and Housing Manager position, which is a reclassification of the former Economic Development and Housing Director position. As I previously reported to you in an email earlier this week, we will be recruiting for that new manager position, which is expected to take several months. And in the meanwhile, Michelle de Guzman has been appointed as the acting Economic Development and Housing Manager. Finally, the council approved a contract with West Coast Code Consultants, also known as WC3, to continue to provide services to the building division in fiscal year 2014 and 15. And that concludes my report. I'd be happy to respond to any questions you may have.
I have a question on the EBOTS. What's the next step, and who does it go to? And
next step is the preparation of a, I guess it would be a draft report with recommendations in it, and it will come back to the Planning Commission and City Council for consideration, as well as all the other agencies that are involved.
And who's making the recommendations in that report? Because I know there's 2 bodies for the EBOTS.
Well, I don't know that we've actually... don't know that we have an official recommender. You might say that it's the Technical Advisory Committee and the Policy Advisory Committee.
So will it go to both committees before hand?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking to Diana, who is our project manager, who knows more about this than I do.
Yeah, I could barely see her over the podium there, but yeah, I see.
Do you want to add
So it
anything,
should go to
Diana?
both committees.
Yeah, maybe Diana can embellish a little bit what I've said.
Due to the input we got, we scheduled a technical advisory committee meeting for a little earlier than we were going to, so we could decide what the plan's going to say. That's going to happen in July, and then the consultants will develop the draft, and we'll have some semblance of what it's going to say in time for the September 8th Policy Advisory Committee meeting, and then we will release a draft. Your September meeting is on October 2nd, right? Something like that. So I think you'll be seeing it then. And then the council later. I don't have the schedule right in front of me. And so there's a study session for you and one for the council, the Transportation Committee too. And then we'll make a final plan and bring it back in December and January.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Thank you, Diana. As you may know, under the terms of the grant that we have from Caltrans to do this study, we have to be done by next February. So there's no wiggle room in our schedule. We're just marching ahead. Any other questions? Okay.
That complete the director's report?
Yes. I have nothing besides the council actions to report this month.
Next item on the agenda